All right, good evening and welcome to the City of Sunbury Council meeting. It is November 15th, 2023. It's 7:30 p.m. Just before we get started, we lost another child to cancer, another local child, Allie Anderson, to a 5-year battle of cancer. And that's a couple locally this year and just too many in general. Please keep her family in your prayers. And also, there's a tragic bus accident involving a school bus from Tuscarawas County. I believe that was yesterday, and several dead. Or I think 18 to 20 people injured. So please keep their families in your prayers as well. Please join me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor St. John.
Here.
Mr. Gose.
Here.
Mr. Neff.
Here.
Mr. Grumney.
Here.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mrs. Cooper. Here. 6 present and Damon Capel is absent.
Thank you. We had a meeting on November 1st and meeting minutes are ready for approval.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilwoman Cooper. Second. Second by Mr. Murray Neff. Discussion?
Under the report from Mr. Hennessy, it said that he presented us with a director and it was actually a directory. So you might want to add a Y to the end of the word director. Please.
I reject that change.
I will get that updated.
Thank you.
All right. You ready?
All right, we're ready for roll call.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Gose?
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, we are on the visitor section. I believe we do have one scheduled visitor from the health district. Come on up.
Hello, Haley Burleson from the Health District. The only thing I have for you guys is we are doing a holiday string light recycling program. So any like busted Christmas lights or anything like that, you can recycle them. It's a pretty innovative program. I've been telling people it's award-winning. Don't fact check me on that, but make sure what an award for it. But it's a cool program. And in Sunbury, the sites are our satellite office, and then also all the Delaware County libraries are participating as well. So you can take your lights in there and we'll recycle them for you.
Nice. Thank you very
all.
much.
And our levy passed.
Yay.
That's all I have.
Thank you. All right. No questions, comments? All right. Are there any other visitors that would like to speak with City Council this evening? Come on up here.
Barry Bennett, 5401 Plantation Road. I just wanted to throw something out here that I mentioned last time, but I think you're discussing the new parking lot tonight, I believe. And I just wanted to throw out into the air, I'm not really well versed on it yet, that idea I presented about permeable paving or stormwater gardens or something besides asphalt or concrete as you're considering this new area. I've done some research. I'm not ready with anything formal yet, but I will. And it looks like there are a lot of options. Most of them are a little bit more expensive, but they return water to the ground instead of run off to the creeks. And they also can be made awfully pretty. And that's all I'll say for the moment.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other visitors? All right, we are on to committee reports. Mr. Ghost.
Yes, earlier this evening, we had our monthly finance committee meeting. You were all in attendance and so I won't go into too much detail, but to summarize for the record, we did talk about the 2024 budget and the wage ordinance, the top 20 vendors and the engineering services, the spending summary, council salary discussion for next year, which will remain the same. And Ms. Steffen presented all of that along with the monthly variance reports and the balances in banks. So that's all for that.
Thank you, Mr. Ghost.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Grumney.
I'd just like to thank Ms. Steffen for her ongoing transparency, because these reports get more and more transparent as we go along with requests and stuff, and just appreciate your willingness to accommodate those requests. And like I said, it's kind of an open book to be able to see what's going on in the city, and I appreciate the work you do for that. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grumney. Mrs. Cooper.
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Neff. Nothing to report. Mr. Martin.
No.
Mr. Mayor, one other thing, one of the report I should say was last week we had our monthly fire board meeting.
Thank you.
And besides the usual discussions, we did take a look at the architectural proposals for the new substation out west. And we will be doing some interviews here in the next couple of weeks of those architects.
That's great.
So we're targeting March, hopefully for a ballot measure. It will not be in May. It would have to be a special election because it's a presidential election. You have your normal election in the spring is in March instead of May. So we hope to have that on the ballot in March.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right, we're on to the police report. Chief Howard.
Thank you, Mayor. Last meeting, we was able to report that fiber they had 650 feet that they had to replace to get fiber to the building down there, the round top. I can report to you now that they haven't run the fiber down to the new PD. Set a loop up there, went underground, and it is now in the round top. We're just waiting for the guys to splice it and, as they say, light it up. So that is real close.
Just in time for Christmas.
The construction on the new PD and the municipal building is just, if you haven't looked at it, look at it. It's really amazing. These guys are coming in. Demo is like ahead of schedule. They're cleaning up messes and it just really looks good. You wouldn't know that those buildings look the way they did a week ago. Our K9 program, I just want to touch base with you guys on this tonight with the passing of legalizing marijuana. There's been some agencies that have done away with their programs. Some of them are going on status quo. After speaking with Dick Whitney, who spoke with Mr. Green, we're going to carry on status quo until we see what the state says come December 7th. I think they have until the 7th. I think that's the date, right? Day before.
I believe so,
To make any changes to the new law. Excuse me.
Is Ace trained to sniff out any other drugs besides marijuana?
He is. There's several drugs. I mean, meth, heroin, cocaine, crack, all that. There's probably a lot of the concern is if you stop a car, the canine hits on it and you find a little bit of marijuana, which is now legal, have you detained this person illegally? So that's the ruling we're waiting to come down. Now, if it's someone under the age of 21, doesn't matter. Obviously, it can still be utilized to, check lockers in schools and whatnot. That's why we've decided to just carry on as we are, but we are not going to be charging for less than 2 ounces of marijuana. So if anybody has any questions or wants to talk about that later, we can. Our tasers that we carry now from Taser, they're outdated. They're at the end of their life. We had got a quote from them for about $85,000 to get us 15 new tasers over a 5-year contract. we were able to demo it's called a phaser from a company out in California. The mayor was there when we demoed it. The two guys that we made guinea pigs out of, had also been tased. And it said that this phaser worked as well or better than what the taser did. So we're looking at, replacing our 15 current instead of giving, $85,000 for that. Phaser gave us a price of, it was 39 and some change, 39,900, I believe it was. 39,358.01. There was some confusion on, we thought it was a 5-year installment with that, which it can be. Paperwork I got today with this price, they thought it was going to be one payment. I told them we wasn't going to do that. We need to stretch that over the 5 years. And they said that was doable. But I don't have the finance charges on that yet to see what that cost is. I'll have that information probably tomorrow.
What is the difference between a taser and a phaser then? Besides Star Trek stuff.
Absolutely.
That's a question for
Really, absolutely nothing. They function the same. The expense you get into with taser that we can see is, they've got these X2s, X7s, 10s. I mean, they're running like grants now with the Taser 10, which actually gives you 10 cartridges to shoot if you needed it. The problem they're running into is the ATF has labeled that as a gun. Because has a powder that propels the dart, so it's labeled as a firearm, and you're not getting many bites on that because nobody's going to want to go sit in a courtroom and hear an attorney say, "Why'd you shoot my client with your firearm?" Because that's where they would be. So they're working through that stuff. I don't know how soon they'll get that taken care of or get that changed, but they're working on it. The only stats I have for you is on some traffic stops. We've had 53 the first 2 weeks, and the citations are 12 in the mayor's, 1 in the muni, 2 in the juvenile. And we've had a total of traffic stops and calls of 164 calls for service. And that's all I have unless you have questions.
Any questions for the chief? I do want to take a stand or a lens, give you a lens on the demonstration. First of all, the two officers that I think you called guinea pigs, but I would say are heroes for being able to. I mean, number one, this is technology and a deterrent that officers can actually use. So I think two officers stepping up and saying, "Listen, I want to understand the impact of what these do to my body." I think shows a lot of their care and understanding for if they would ever have to. Also, I was really impressed with the coordination of your department, coordinating with the EMS responders as well. So it was good training for them. Not only were they on site to make sure everything went off without a hitch, but the probe removal and seeing the entry wound and if there was any additional damage that needed to be taken care of. I thought it was a really well run exercise, and we probably had 20 people.
Thank you. Yeah.
that were there observing that. The other thing I would say about this technology is they do have like micro SD chips or something that is recording the data. So somebody can't just hold the mechanism down. There are safety features in there that shut that off after I think 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's a 5-second charge, and state law says you can only do that 3 times. Or I should say the law, not just the state law, but everywhere they only want someone tased 3 times. The phaser has a safeguard in it where you can hit that button 3 times. You hit it the 4th time, it doesn't work. Now, if you're in a situation where you need it to work, you can shut it off, restart it. It takes about a half a second. And then you can use it again.
All that data is logged, I guess.
That
is
is
what
all
I'm saying.
logged.
So, you know, in a court of law, you know, it shows the amount of force and things like that.
Correct.
That were used.
And something else I probably should have mentioned, it's in the report, but Phaser with this, in this price, they supply all our training cartridges in this price. Any of the duty charges we need or cartridges, the Phaser themselves is rechargeable. So instead of buying, you know, a $200 battery when it dies, you plug it in and it should last. I don't know that it will. I haven't shot it 2,000 times yet, but it says you'll get 2,000 cycles on a charge. And as soon as you walk in, it's got a small, like a recording device, like the mayor was mentioning, that downloads all the data. You have to test fire that before every shift, make sure it's cycling properly. At the end of your shift, when you come back in, if you get within, I think it was 50 feet of the
Transponder,
yeah,
data receiver.
the receiver, correct? It automatically, whether you have one guy walks in or 10 walk in, it dumps every taser into that, and that information's logged. So I think it's a good tool. It's obviously for the price, it's not, I don't see where we can go wrong. And it saves several $1,000s.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything for the chief? No, sir. Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Enjoy your vacation.
I'm gonna try it, and I'll leave this on me building.
We don't either, chief. All right, we are on to the administrator report.
All right, so just a couple of items to highlight in the report. I will bring pictures to the services committee meeting of kind of what the demo looks like, so we can look at it at that point. It is pretty incredible just what the demo alone is doing to transform the building. It's pretty surprising, but in a positive way. But the two other things I want to mention just tonight is the first one, Magnolia Park subdivision, for the benefit of the council members. Just want to let you know that the home builder is about ready to begin building homes on this site, but because it's so close to Big Walnut Intermediate Schools and the drop off and pickup vehicle pattern that's existing in that area, that is going to be a bit of a nightmare unless we do something about it. So the mayor and I were able to meet with the superintendent and the facilities manager at school. We've talked about this concern. They're considering some options that we've raised. They're going to, I think, also look at maybe some options that we hadn't thought about, get back to us. So stay tuned on that. But I just want to let you know, I mean, we are very much aware of this. The school is concerned about it as well. And if we can get this fixed before the building of new homes begins, I think everybody will benefit from that. So, and then the only other item I want to mention on here is we are just about ready to begin decorating the square. So thank you to the events committee for being such strong advocates for more decorations on the square. So beginning next week, the services team will start to put up the lights. We won't turn them on yet, but we are going to have more lights on the interior of the square than we've had in the past. We'll have wreaths on some of the windows, not all the windows of the building. We will have some garland on the outside of the doors, and we'll do a little bit more decorating over at the gazebo as well. So more lights, more fun.
Got high expectations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Step one, right? More to come next year. Any questions?
Wanted to tie two things together with the Big Walnut Local School District between the administrator report and the police report. The fiber connection that the chief had talked about, I want to give a lot of credit to the schools for, we've really built a good relationship with the schools, and I mean the administration and the board. And we were in kind of a dire situation with, here, we're going to run a new fiber line up in the municipal building. And the schools have a fiber line that runs right past the property. And through a gentlewoman's agreement, we were able to, we're on track to lease a couple of strands of fiber from them. But You know, if this was anyone else, I think we would have had to have the agreement in place before we had the fiber ran. We were able to get the fiber ran as we worked towards an agreement. So a lot of credit goes to the school district and our relationship with them. It's come a long way. Anything from Mr. Hennessy? All right, we've got Mr. Dan White.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome.
I'll go through the report here quickly. The Reservoir Park Fishing Pier Project, Sedgwick Park, the contract, we're in the process of finalizing that. And still on target to mobilize by December 15th. The nitty gritty of the construction won't start until next year, but we'll get mobilized in compliance with our contract. J.R. Smith Park, we're working on the engineering details on putting that together so we can begin design. Walnut Street, we're meeting with Mick Hall tomorrow to talk about getting some clearing done to get some trees out of the way so we can get a big geotechnical drill rig in there and do some geotechnical investigation. And then once we get that, we'll get hot and heavy into the design on that. Wastewater treatment plant, Low Walnut Creek Interceptor, East Side Sewer, and Low Head Dam are all things that we're working pretty diligently on, and we'll be doing a presentation at the Services Committee meeting on December 6th. If anybody is interested in seeing that, it should be all kinds of fun. I'm sure you'll enjoy that. There's a lot of work going on there, and it is pretty interesting. Traffic calming, we're in the process of putting together some exhibits, and we'll need to meet with you guys to make sure we are on target with how you want to do the option that we selected to make sure we're getting all the details correct. 2024 street program, we did get the application submitted, and we're beginning to do some of the design work on those ancillary issues at Greenbrier and Middleview and traffic calming and Rosecrans. So we'll have those probably presented at Services Committee before too long. Greenville Street Apartments, I think we finally got to the point where they've answered all of our concerns and questions, and we'll be getting approved plans and allowing them to begin construction in the next, probably yet this year. Put some underground, start putting underground in. Magnolia Park, as Mr. Hennessy alluded to, they'll be beginning vertical construction here in the very near future. And we need to be diligent about the safety involved with that. Rolling Hills and Price Ponds, we have the punch list walkthroughs scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. Or is that tomorrow morning? Tomorrow. So we'll finally getting to that as well. I'm sure there'll be some issues to be addressed, but before probably in the first of the year, we'll be to the point where we can accept dedicate the improvements and accept them. And we have a pre-construction conference on Eagle Creek tomorrow. Now they are in construction right now, but what they're building is the underground, is the sanitary sewer, which is a separate entity. That's the Delaware County Regional Sewer District. They've begun that, but we're going to start tomorrow we'll have our pre-construction conference for the remainder of the infrastructure work. Kentner Crossing, we're working with the developer on kind of tying that into Little Walnut Creek to make sure Interceptor, make sure we've got the utility services correct. And we're still contemplating some site improvements there that may need to come back to council. I'm not quite sure yet. Just one last thing. I did want to kudos to Mr. Bennett on his idea for pervious pavement at these parking lots. I think it's something we need to evaluate cost wise, but it's certainly the right thing to do from a sustainability perspective, especially in a community, a progressive community such as this. It's on the leading edge of things. I think that would be really good. And it's really perfect place to begin that kind of work. So if we can pull that off, I think that's a good idea. And right-of-way permits, there shows 3 on here, and there should be more. I somehow left some off. I think there were about 8 over the last period of time. And that is the extent of my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Right, great report, Mr. Whited. Thank you. All right, we are on to resolutions, no third readings. We are on to second readings. Resolution number 2023.31, a resolution to establish a credit card policy for the city of Sunbury. First readings, resolution 2023.32, a resolution authorizing the city of Sunbury to apply for financial assistance through the Land and Water Conservation Fund Program for improvements to J.R. Smith Park. We're up against time.
We are, yeah. So I think the next three or all three of these, yeah, we've got a deadline for submitting on all of these. The land and water conservation application due today. Resolution would follow that. So yes,
Motion to suspend the rules.
yeah, we would like you to proceed if you're ready.
I just made the motion.
We got a motion by Mr. Martin. Second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Okay,
Motion on resolution 2023.32. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Martin, second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
6 yeas.
You're on to resolution number 2023.33, a resolution authorizing the city administrator to prepare and submit a request for financial assistance for improvements to J.R. Smith Park from the state of Ohio capital budget. Does anyone need any background on this one? These are all in the same vein, but happy to provide detail if you need it. I'm just saying these next two, let me just double check. Yeah, these next two, we are actually submitting formal requests with both our local state representative and state senator for the 2024 budget cycle. There are different deliverables, but there is one that's coming up, I believe, is it later this month? Or
Yeah, I mean, the
early
first
next
submission
month?
is Friday.
There we go.
Yeah.
So we want to get this team behind this. We're looking to fund some significant improvements right over here, both with the Ohio to Erie Trail and J.R. Smith Park, and we're looking for state assistance. And we've had good feedback. Any questions? I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Second by Mr. Goes. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Looking for a motion. I've got a motion on resolution 2023.33.
Second.
Second by Mr. Goes. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion passes. Another first reading resolution number 2023.34, a resolution authorizing the city administrator to prepare and submit a request for financial assistance to fund an extension of the Ohio to Erie Trail and other related public improvements on East Granville Street from the state of Ohio capital budget.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Got a motion by Mrs. Cooper to suspend.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gose. Discussion, roll call.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas. Motion on resolution 2023.34.
Got a motion on the resolution.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gose. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Let's take a brief recess to just give Miss Amber Swain a lot of credit for being able to keep up with this voting. Nice job. Very organized. We appreciate her. Now back to the action. Ordinances. We have third readings for ordinance number 2023.01.2, second amended and ordinance amending the 2023 annual appropriations. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Right, we're on a second readings. Ordinance 2023.20, in ordinance approving amendments to the city of Sunbury zoning code, including creation of a limited industrial district and other miscellaneous revisions and declaring an emergency.
So on this one, Mr. Mayor, staff is recommending that we move forward if council is comfortable doing that this evening. What I do want to say is I had sent to the council members in advance the red line version of the document. You don't see that in the packet, but I do have a copy here if anybody wants to see the red line, or if anybody in the public wants to see the red line. So that document basically reflects in the city's existing zoning ordinance all of the changes recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission. Then there is one other item that, as you may recall, when Miss Lisa Duffy Rogers did her presentation, she did make a minor adjustment to the development standards table. I have included in the packet on packet page 39 how that would amend what the Planning and Zoning Commission had recommended. So you can see the red lines there, make changes to 4B and 5A. Again, mostly to kind of harmonize language in the document.
So to incorporate these, we need a motion and a second to incorporate these final revisions from Duffy Rogers. They're on page 39 of your packet into the amended zoning code provisions. You need a motion and a second and a vote on that.
I'll make that motion.
Do we need a motion on the suspensions of rules?
Motion and a second to add these amendments to what you're looking to pass first.
I'll second the motion.
A motion and a second. Motion was by Cindy Cooper. Second was by David Martin. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
6 yeas.
Now, what you're looking to do, if you're going to move this tonight, is to suspend your 3 readings requirement. And then you're also looking to modify what the Planning and Zoning Commission did. Slight modification, again, it's verbiage, but you are modifying what they did. So you need a 75% majority of all of council to pass that. You've got 6 of you here tonight. That part would need to be unanimous. So you need a motion and suspension on the rules. That needs 5 votes for passage.
I'll make that motion to suspend the rules.
A motion to suspend the rules by Councilwoman Cooper,
I'll second it.
second by Councilman Martin. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
6 yeas.
Then you need a motion on the ordinance itself. Again, this will slightly modify what the Planning and Zoning Commission did. You need a 75% vote on that. It needs all 6 of you, motion, vote, all 6 of you to pass it.
But we need a motion on the emergency before we vote on the ordinance.
You're right. This isn't, you're declaring an emergency on it as well, correct? You want it
Yes.
effective without 30 days. Good catch, Dave. You need a motion on the emergency.
Need a
That
unanimous
takes
on
5
those
again.
two.
A motion, I'd like to make a motion on the emergency.
Motion on the emergency,
Second.
second by Mr. Martin. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
6 yeas. Motion on the ordinance 2023.20.
Motion on ordinance 2023.20 made by Councilwoman Cooper,
And I'll second it.
second by Mr. Martin. I just want to also recognize the rest of staff for keeping us in line and straight, and thank you. We could not do this without you. We tried. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
6 yeas.
Ordinance passes. Ordinance 2023.21 and ordinance approving the final plat for Sunbury Rolling Hills, Section 2 and declaring an emergency. See, we have Jim Olin here
We
from
do.
Romanelli and Hughes Development Company. I think you're Chief Development Officer / Chairman of a board. Right. Warranty technician. Did you want to come up? Are you looking for an approval to see?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay. I don't know that you need to come up. Nothing's changed from the original approval. This is more or less a formality. And it's to get it in front of you, and we're approving this next section. Are there any concerns before we push forward with I'll make a suspension for the rules motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
6 yeas.
Make a motion on emergency.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
Mr. Neff?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, I'll make a motion on ordinance number 2023.21. Second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Right, good deal. We're gonna do this in repeat for the next ordinance. Ordinance number 2023.22, an ordinance approving the final plat for Sunbury Rolling Hills, section 3, phase B, and declaring an emergency. I'll make a motion to suspend the rules. Second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, I'll make a motion on the emergency.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Make a motion on ordinance number 2023.22. Second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Owen.
So much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Sure. Have a good night. All right, we have 14 more ordinances left to go.
Busy.
Anybody need a break or anything? We good?
Rock and roll.
We had the first readings of ordinances. Ordinance number 2023.23, an ordinance authorizing execution of a compensation agreement between the Delaware Area Career Center and the city of Sunbury and declaring an emergency. Mr. Hennessy, do you want to give a 30-second back?
Yeah, so this is similar to what you approved earlier for the Big Walnut Local School District. Basically allows for the offering of a property tax exemption with a compensation agreement back to the school district paid for by the company that receives the exemption. So the school board has signed off on that. That signed document is in your packet. And so just to execute the agreement, we need council to act accordingly. So we could act this evening. I don't know that we have to act this evening, but
And I wanted to just give a little bit of color here. Also, the Delaware Area Career Center did not have to approve this. The larger school district, Big Walnut, did for us to move forward. We approached DACC in a proactive manner and met with their superintendent and the school treasurer, and they were very receptive to this idea. And more or less, I mean, within 5-10 minutes of the meeting, they said, you know, whatever Big Walnut signed up for, we want to be a part of this. You know, we know you're trying to attract, you know, the type of businesses that we can place students. And they did also add a waiver of notice. And that's probably the key clause in this particular agreement, which is, I mean, it just makes the process more efficient. It makes us more competitive when we're looking at the region, when we're trying to attract top tier businesses. And I think it goes a long way to show that DACC is a forward thinking body. So with that said, have they approved it yet?
they've approved it and signed it. The signed version is in your packet.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and approve the agreement. We give this one to Mr. Neff.
You got it.
All right, Mr. Neff on the second. He hasn't had many tonight.
More than ever before. I think this is a record.
This is a suspension of the rules motion and a roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, I'd like to make a motion on the emergency. Second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. A little quicker on the second next time. Roll call.
did.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Okay, I'll make a motion on ordinance number 2023.23.
Second.
Second by Mr. Neff. Discussion. Roll call.
No.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas.
I get the feeling that council is trying to get out of the third meeting of November. Okay. All right. Ordinance number 2023.24, An ordinance approving the execution of a water and wastewater infrastructure program grant agreement with the Ohio Department of Development and declaring an emergency. Can you give us a?
Yeah, so this is the $2.3 million plus award that the Ohio Department of Development granted to the city. This is to assist with the wastewater treatment plant expansion. It's primarily for, I think, the clarifier, the additional clarifier. But as we'll talk about the services committee meeting next meeting, I mean, there's a lot going on with respect to the investments and the expansion of that plant. We had applied for this grant, I think, in the last cycle, did not receive it, applied a second time and did receive an award from them. So this is basically to execute the grant agreement. And these funds are the ARPA monies that come to the state of Ohio. So, you know, that's the source from which we would receive it. So we do need to execute this agreement. Mr. Bream is still looking through the document itself. So, you know, it's possible that there could be some adjustments to that. So if we wanted to wait, we certainly could. It does reference the village. I've encouraged them to let me update this to say the city. And there are a couple of other minor things in here that, you know, I'd like them to clean up, but, and they seem to be open to that, but they haven't finalized that with me yet. So.
Mr. Bream, is it far enough along where an approval of the ordinance pending legal and administrative review, engineering review, you know, does that satisfy it, or would you prefer us wait?
Yeah, we've got changes. We've got language in the ordinance that allows minor changes that if approved by, you know, the respective staff, myself, the city administrator, and I believe I guess it's the two of us. Yeah, we can make minor tweaks to it. So I just soon get it going. I mean, it is a lot of money and we're getting it a grant and we're ready to get it and want to get it. So I'll just soon get it finalized if we can. Working towards that final meeting in November.
Exactly.
Same page.
All right. Who's up?
Motion to suspend.
Down there, we've been carrying this meeting.
We have a motion to suspend the rules by Mr. Martin,
Second.
second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on the emergency.
A motion by Mr. Martin,
Second.
second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on ordinance 2023.24 pending legal and administrative review.
A motion,
Second.
second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
6 yeas.
All right, we got good news. These next two, we're not going to approve tonight, so we're just going to do readings. Ms. Swain, excellent job.
Thank you.
Ordinance number 2024.01. Again, this is the first reading. An ordinance to approve expenses and other expenditures of the city of Sunbury, Delaware County, state of Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024. Another first reading, ordinance number 2024.02. An ordinance adopting wage and salary structures for the city of Sunbury for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2024. We are on to new and unfinished business. We did it, folks. Near clean slate. There's a meeting on November 29th, 2023. I'd like to see what city's staff recommendation is.
I would recommend we cancel that meeting.
Okay. All right.
You don't have any items pending
No, we don't.
approval that night. Okay. Motion to cancel the meeting on November 29th, 2023.
A motion by Mr. Martin,
Second.
second by Mr. Douglas. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. 6 yeas.
We were unfinished business, Mr. Ghost. Mr. Grumney. Mrs. Cooper.
Yep.
Mr. Martin.
See you.
Mr. Neff.
Nothing.
Oh, man. Planning and zoning and BZA positions, we're getting ready to post for openings. That's all I had. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Cooper. Discussion, roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Neff,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
6 yeas, we are adjourned.